You're live.
All right, good evening. Today's November 18th, 2025, 6 o'clock. My name is Kent Thurston. I'm the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. We're going to call the meeting to order and going on to, does anybody have any conflict of interest for tonight? Seeing none, we're going to go on to the next one, public participation. Is there anybody here that would like to say anything on behalf of what that, well, two things. If anything's on a consent agenda, now's your time for public participation, or if you just have anything else that you would like to announce. Those of you who have something, go ahead and come on up to the mic and I will swear you. Do I have to swear them in right here? I think I do, right? Just public participation?
Yeah.
So go ahead. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Planning and Zoning. I'd like to give accolades to where they belong, and I've asked for these two city zoning signs to be put up. This one is the one from last year, 2024, and if you notice that there's a font problem between case and where it says the number and the actual black lettering which talks about the city. We talked about this the last time. I had asked the TAC people to please put it in the administrative group that a QR code should be attached to that as well. Can I go to the next one? Thank you. This one is from 2025, and it is one of the most recent ones you have put out as a zoning thing. The QR code is there, people are using it, however, we still have a font problem. The distance before magnification was from the sidewalk or from the street curb edge. It's not readable, and therefore you're not communicating to people exactly what is on there. Also, I had asked the TAC to put into the administrative group that 500 feet in diameter was not a reasonable amount to contact people. Some of the people here this evening didn't receive letters for another case that is on the agenda. That's why 500 feet is not enough. I'm asking that that be put onto the administrative changes and amendment to realize Las Cruces. 500 feet should be increased to 800 feet in terms of the diameter between the zoning object and residential housing. Young Park is a main example where is 500 feet? Which corner do you measure that distance from? Those cases will be coming to you fairly soon. So I want to thank you for the changes that you made, but they're not enough to progress to a positive communication between the residents and the city, and to know what the city is doing on a particular piece of property, especially since Realize now is almost administrative. So again, I thank you for the progress. I believe there's more to be made, and since the city has already been asked to change the maps for Realize Las Cruces in terms of a resolution amendment, I'm asking that the administrative distance and the font size be increased also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Go ahead, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Bob Schunier. I live at 945 Delta Drive, which is one house away from the 1701 Nevada request for a subdivision there. On the sign, it says they want to put on or put in 6 townhomes. And I feel that if you have 6, you're going to have a minimum of 2 cars per townhome. That's going to put 12 coming out of that small lot that, according to the paper here, is 3/4 of an acre. The street we have is already very busy. Before you guys were probably on any board here, they redone our street, and they put in those side barriers which are supposed to slow people down, and they don't. Nevada is a little race street because it's a long street with no stop signs. Those little garden planters on the side, people drive in and out of them sometimes, and you can hear it, and you can see the oil all over the place sometimes. So that hasn't slowed down traffic at all. So if we add a minimum of 12 cars coming in and out of that lot, I think that's going to make it a very dangerous intersection there where Delta comes into Nevada. And most likely, those townhomes will be for rent and not owned by the people living there. So I'm assuming college students, and we've had that problem in the past with some of the houses being rented to college students. And our residential neighborhood is bad enough as it is right now, but if you add 12 more residents, 12 more cars, or possibly 20 if you put 3 per unit, I think that's too much for our neighborhood. And the neighbors that I spoke to, there's a lot of older people on my actual street and some handicapped people. They all feel that 6 is too many. We understand that developing it is one thing, but 6 townhomes is just too much for that small intersection. I see there's a few people here that are my neighbors. I really don't know them by name, but I'm sure they're going to agree with me. And that's about all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your comments. Anybody else? Let's go on the left side. You, yep, come on up. Go ahead and come on up.
My name is Frank Duran. I live at 980 Maple, right across from this proposal. Now, like my neighbor here just said, our neighborhood is already plagued with speedsters down our neighborhood in Nevada. I was a participant in the Nevada Neighborhood Project. That property was purchased to beautify and to bring about beautification to our neighborhood, projects for our children, just like the new developments that you have out in the East Mesa, water parks, stuff like that. It was supposed to give us a place to go and enjoy our neighborhood. These bump outs, not a very big success. Our request for speed bumps and speed traffic signs like they have on Idaho were denied. There are a lot of things going on that may not be on the agenda, such as my neighbor just mentioned, a lot of our neighbors are on a fixed income. What is the economic impact on our neighborhood when you bring these properties up to development? I just didn't write these things down, I apologize, but I have a lot more questions, and I think we need to discuss this thoroughly. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, to explain a little bit about how the agenda works is if everything that is on consent, basically after we do an acceptance of the agenda, all the consent, anything that's under the consent agenda will be automatically passed. And so in order to bring one of those off, you would have to have a council member basically pull it off the agenda. So just to let you guys know on how that works. Is there anybody else on the right side that would like to, or on the left side? I guess let's keep going down the row on the left. Anybody else? It,
Hello, good evening. My name is Jesus Fritz. We live at 1715 Lester, and there are 4 vacant houses within a block, 1 block radius. One at 911 Rio Grande, the other one at 1700 Lester, the other one at 1740 Lester, and across the street or next to our house at 1705 Lester Avenue. So we've got 4 vacant homes there. Then we're going to build, or the proposal is to build 6 townhouses to increase the traffic, and yet nothing is being really done as far as looking at what's already there. I mean, you know, you can redevelop those homes. If somebody doesn't want a single-family home, they could redevelop those, because those homes, for the most part, are just vacant, and they're not being really used other than one rental. One of them is a rental, and that rental is across the street from us at 1700 Lester. So we know that we know the neighborhood there, and we know that people are just have those houses vacant, and that issue is is not being addressed by the city, by the Economic Development Council that Chris Favor, whatever his name is. I spoke to him, and in regards to the fact that those homes are not only vacant, but there's nobody as far as codes compliance in relation to maintaining the homes, and yet those of us that live there are expected to maintain our homes. So what's going to happen with those homes that the proposed plan is to build homes on Nevada? If you're not taking care of the vacant homes around there, what's the city going to do with those additional homes that they're going to build off of Nevada? That's our objection. The density, in addition to the high traffic area that we already have there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the left side? Go ahead and come on down.
I'm Dr. Williams. I'm here with Joe and Ralph regarding the property on Tornillo. So our church is right across from the property. We've been following the property, trying to find out who owned it, is it available, for what seemed like years. We finally, last thing when we got through to City Hall was they asked us to make an offer.
So
We made an offer.
I'm gonna interrupt you just for 1 sec. You're talking about on 7.1?
Yeah, 7.1, yes.
Okay, we're gonna hear that one tonight.
You are.
So we'll come back to you when we get to that one. Because in the so this will be the public participation basically for like 6.1, if anyone has something, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 7.1 we're gonna hear tonight, so you have your opportunity to come back on that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, good evening. My concern for the development of the plot on Nevada is that they will be 2-story houses, I'm assuming, with a number of properties there. So that's a concern.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you one time. I haven't been asking people their names, so I'm gonna have to see if you can give us your name for the record.
Oh, yes, Melissa Tanksley. I
Thank
live
you.
on Mimbres Court.
Thank you.
And another concern that I have is that if it was to be for low-income dwellings, I think the rate that they might go into foreclosure or be vacated would be somewhat higher than normal. And then there's the issue of squatters. So that was a concern for me. And I was unclear, is it 6 dwellings or 12 dwellings? Is there an answer? Can I get an answer to that one?
During public participation, it's just,
It's just public participation, okay. Um, And in years past, I understood it was we were looking into building a community garden there and having walking trails, which I think would benefit our community more so than additional housing there. It is a very crowded area and very busy street, and no way to curb the traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on the right? Go ahead. And I just
I
need you to
have-
state your name.
Case Durbin.
Thank you.
I received a letter, but many of my neighbors did not. I feel like it's evasive and not full disclosure. Like, who owns this property?
Once again, it's just public
And then
participation.
a survey was ordered. We have no blueprint. Are these dwellings going to be 2-story, 3-story? Access in and out? We don't have that information. And does that mean on my lot, I could build 3 dwellings and sell them individually? Because usually in a subdivision, to sell a piece off, you have to have it approved by the subdivision, surveyed, all of those kinds of things. So what is that? How is that going to impact others? I'm on Members Court. I have a very large lot, almost as large as this one. So what are you opening the door to, and who does own this property? I understood tonight, I'm not sure it's accurate, but I understood tonight that the city owns it. Really? And if they own the property, is it for free enterprise, profit? What was the purpose for the city owning this property? So, and also, just the traffic being that close to Young Park, we have a lot of, I don't know the proper word to use and be politically correct, but there's a lot of stuff floating in our neighborhood, spreading out. From the incident at the park, it's not very well supervised. And who will be in charge of the maintenance of these townhouses? Is it going to be low income? Will there be background checks? Or are they going to be individually sold? That's not clear. And I think that it should be, and I understood you to say something, I don't know how to get this off the agenda, but you said something about getting it removed, or if it's up for vote, or where that is. And if we could have some clarity on that. Thank you, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning.
I need you to state your name.
My name is Gregory Shervanek, and I would like to give a historical background as to this property.
On this one, how do I, what are the rules on public participation for,
Wait.
can, okay, so I'm being told on the rules that you get one shot on the public participation.
I'm not talking about public participation. I am talking about the item 6.2, which you have on the consent agenda that you allowed other people to speak about, and it is fair that you allow me to speak about it, because your body, including Mr. Faber and a number of people in your department, received emails from me. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking now. This property is city property and was
You have
purchased.
only, you already have, we're still in public participation.
Okay, are you going to discuss 6.2?
We're in public participation, so that is up to the council to whether they're going to pull the agenda or not. Yeah, that off the agenda,
All right.
off
then
the
I would-
consent, so it is up to them.
Then, Chairman, I would like you to ask the council to pull 6.2.
We
Thank
will
you.
do, thanks. Is there anybody else on public participation? Okay,
Before we make a motion to accept the agenda, I'd like to pull item 6.2. Hoping staff can give a presentation and address some of the concerns that have been raised tonight.
can I get a second?
Second.
This is on the motion to remove item 6.2 from the agenda. Counselor Acosta, or Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
And Chair.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we will go to the acceptance of the agenda. Is that correct? Or is there, yeah, because that is the acceptance of it, okay. Okay, so now we need to have a motion to hear 6.2.
Make a motion to hear 6.2.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Good evening, Sarah Gonzalez with Community Development. Before you is the proposed subdivision for Alleys at Nevada. Property is located at 1701 Nevada Avenue. It is approximately 0.752 acres in size. It is currently zoned R1A, which is single-family medium density. It is located within our infill boundary or urban core. It is a vacant, undeveloped parcel, and it is owned by the City of Las Cruces. Here is a zoning map of the subject property. Right here you can see where the parcel is located. You would have Lynn Middle School over here. You have Young Park. You do have Walnut, and then you have Loman across up to the north side. As you can see, the area is zoned R1A, which is our single-family zone under the 2001 zoning code. We do have multifamily that's on the other side of Walnut Avenue. Here's an aerial map of the subject property. As you can see, this parcel is vacant. There are still a few other parcels that are vacant located within the area. Here is the school as well as Young Park. So you can see that this is primarily single family. There are different lot sizes and variations. Tonight, the applicant is proposing to subdivide the one lot into 6 townhouse lots, which would include essentially 6 new dwelling units, which are considered townhouses. The lots do range from 0.125 to 0.126 acres in size, and they are accessed from Nevada Avenue. These townhouse developments are basically permitted by right through our zoning code as they have met the minimum requirements. When you're developing a townhouse lot, you are able to use the exemption, which is 38-62 from our zoning code, which allows you to provide a lot frontage of 24 feet in width, and you're allowed to have a square footage of 2880. And so in that standard, when we look into the plat, each one of these lots are 33 feet in width, which has met the minimum lot frontage of the 24 minimum standard. And then they're 110 feet deep, which is more than the requirement of the 2880 square footage. So you do have 6 lots. When you're looking at townhouses in some form, they are attached to one another. You can have different variations when you do townhouses. That means you can have 2 attached to each other, 3, or you can have all 6. It just depends on how the design is done or how the development comes in. Here is one of the renderings that they were looking at from the City of Las Cruces. As you can see here, this is where the property line would run. You'd have 1 dwelling unit on this side and 1 dwelling unit on the other side. Then you would have this courtyard area. You'd have the same moving along. So in this case, if this scenario were to be developed or built out, you would have essentially 2 units being connected throughout. So you'd have 2, 2, and 2 based on the 6 units. This does go through our development review committee. Being that all the infrastructure is already in place, that means utilities, right-of-way, all of that is already installed. There were no concerns from the DRC as they have met the 2001 zoning code based on the allegation or the allowance from 38-62. There is going to be a condition, though, if they were not approved tonight. This would be allowed and realized by right. So moving forward, the subdivision would not have to come to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. However, there is a condition that if they are not approved, they would be required to pay the $18,592 for the parkland dedication and fees, which is primary reason of which we are here this evening. So with that, staff's recommendation is approval. It does comply with the city standards. It does comply with the City of Las Cruces zoning code and the subdivision code. It does comply with Section 38-62 of the exceptions provided to develop townhouse development. And it does promote essentially an alternative style of living or housing option, which is promoted through Elevate Las Cruces, our comprehensive plan. The notice was sent out to the 500 feet within the boundary. We did receive no information. I did not receive any emails or public comment provided prior to this meeting. With that, this is the commission's options. I do stand for any questions. We do have Natalie with Neighborhood Services to represent and answer any questions on the behalf of the City of Las Cruces as they are part of the development process. And then we do have Catherine Harrison Rogers here from Parks and Rec.
Does anybody have any, not anybody, do you have any further things you want to add on to this presentation?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Natalie Green for the record. The only thing I'll add is this piece we are looking to take into our affordable housing land bank. So while there are renderings, we don't have an official development plan yet. It is intended to be for home ownership, so it will be for home. It will not be rentals. It'll be home ownership. Typically, we work with Tierra del Sol to do that program, but we're not necessarily tied to them. Because it does not have any federal funds, it is allowed to go up to 120% of area median income. So for a family of 4, that's a family making less than $85,000. But again, depending on the funding sources that are allocated to the project, will help dictate some of those income levels and design requirements. And just as a matter of practice, we typically don't do 2 stories for our programs. So I don't anticipate that they would be 2 stories. They would be single story. Typically we build between 1,100 square feet and 1,500 square feet. So it's small starter home, entry-level housing.
Thank you. All right, before we go to public participation, just to give a little clarification on this, what we're going to do is we're going to open it back up for those who have comments. We'll give you 2 minutes. What we're going to do is you ask the questions, and then we as commissioners don't always have the answer because we're not really the applicant. We're just an approving board. And so what we will do is we'll take your questions, and then we'll have those written down, and then we'll ask back the applicant if they have any other, if they can answer some of those questions. So if you'll come up and go ahead, and we're going to start here on the left-hand side, and then I need to swear you in, and then we'll go ahead and you just give us the questions that you have or the testimony that you want to give as well. All right, so before you come up, I got to say, I got to have your name.
Frank Duran.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
One of my questions is, I was a member of the Neighborhood Nevada Project, was to improve our neighborhood's driving issue, or those bump outs. This property was also purchased under that program, and I would like to know what changed. Why was this property not maintained for the purpose it was purchased for? And that's most important. I do live right across the street, so I see this every day when I walk outside my house. Secondly, the economic impact on our already fixed income residents in the area. What we're going to do to protect them against our already increased property taxes. Furthermore, that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on the left, let's keep going. Can you please state your name?
Gregory Shervanick, S-H-E-R-V-A-N-I-C-K.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
And thank you, Fast Finger. You don't want me to speak longer. This is a travesty tonight. The information that you were given in your packet is misinformation. This property was bought by the city of Las Cruces, who is the applicant here, for a park. And it was bought with money from Doniana Community United. This gentleman just spoke about, but he didn't remember the name. And it was given to the city through that program. Councilor Vasquez pushed it really hard. The mayor also commented on it. So please go back to the resolution of the purchase of this property. This is not just a zoning deal. This is park property. It has been used in the calculation of which you voted on for impact fees. How do you separate a plus or minus sign from from mathematics and a solution? I only have one question, because we have the experts from Realize here. An appeal on this subject is still under current Las Cruces LCMU items, or is it a Realize Las Cruces? Because the rush for this is amazing. I got an email on the 14th of November. Okay, by the 29th of November, DRC had already pushed it through for a zoning project. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Anybody-
I would like you to answer the question. If I appeal this as an amicus, is it under the current Las Cruces Municipal Code, or is it under Realize?
Thank you. I stated it earlier how we will do this. We will answer the questions as they come afterwards. Thank you. Anybody else on the left? Okay, we will, no one left on the left. Anybody on the right that would like to come back up?
I'm not sure.
I need to have you state your name real quick.
Kay Sturman.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
There seems to be some legal things, how the city can purchase property for a cause, not use it for the cause. Then what is the city going to do with the money that they make from the sale? Then the other thing is on the appeal. If this is passed, do we have to go to the city council, or where can we get advice on that to follow this down the road? Or am I asking the wrong group? The wrong council, I mean.
We'll get to that. You keep asking your questions, and we'll see if we can get those.
Okay, because of the impact it's going to have on our neighborhood, that what is the city going to do to enhance our area, which was the original intent for them to have this property? Do you see what I'm saying? And then here's the police force. It's very hard to get that area patrolled, even after the incidences at what used to be the old Lynn School, what we have at Young Park, and then the traffic and damage. It's like a racing center through there. And yes, there is a stop sign. As a matter of fact, there's two. But very often, when you take that curve to go up to Lee's Drive, it's not enforced. They're not stopping at the stop signs. And that's a separate issue. But the issue is the danger that this will bring to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the right? Okay, we're going to close the public participation and go to the counselors. Does any of the counselors have any, or commissioners, sorry, I shouldn't call it counselors, commissioners, have any questions?
Yeah, we should ask how council feels about us taking their titles. I've got a few questions. First of all, thanks for staff for providing some clarity. I think this is a really fantastic project on its face, though hearing some of the things that were raised tonight, and then again going back to the staff report, it would seem that we didn't do ourselves many favors here. I think we're maybe unintentionally stoking some vibes of secrecy or conspiracy. So I'm hoping that staff can address some of the questions that were both raised by some of the speakers this evening. Starting with the fact that the city is not listed as an applicant for this application, which in fact I believe they are. And in fact, it wasn't even mentioned at all that this was city-owned property until you got into the minutes from the DRC meeting as an attachment. So my first question is, why is the city not listed as the applicant? And why not identify that in the staff report at the outset?
Mr. Chair and Commission, when you look at any one of our P&Z packets, we generally will say on there that it does have the representative. It's the applicant who has submitted the subdivision application. So in this case, the applicant was Carter Surveying, who had submitted the application for the subdivision, as it is a subdivision for the city, but the applicant essentially is Carter Surveying. The property owners have not all been listed on any of the packets that you move forward with. You generally will see Sauter Miller, they are the representative for Sierra Norte. You will see the same information going on to all of your packets.
But this applicant cannot file anything without the city's consent, correct?
Mr. Chair, that is correct, yes. When the plat comes in, it is signed off by the city of Las Cruces. We do get the mayor to sign off as they contest to the property basically being subdivided. That is correct. But the applicant who's submitting the application is not the city. It is the subdivider that is placing it basically onto the property. So if we were to go through all of the 4 cases we had this evening and you look through all of your packets, our packets stay consistent. We provide the representative who has submitted those applications.
I understand that. I guess the frustrating part is a property owner has to consent. They're on the application. Because I cannot come before the city and submit a subdivision application for a property that I do not own. Correct?
Mr. Commissioner, I just want to add that as a matter of practice, our team hires professional surveyors and they do the subdivisions on our behalf. And so yes, the city did have to go through a sign-off process and affidavit that we are the legal owner. As the Housing and Neighborhood Services Administrator, I'm the designee for our Affordable Housing and Land Bank and Trust Fund, so I do sign some of those affidavits.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I understand what you're saying. I guess what's confusing to me is this is a city project, city-owned property, and yet we don't mention any of that anywhere in the staff report. It's not until the DRC, if you read the minutes, where that became apparent. And I guess I just don't. Why? Why are we not being forthcoming there? I mean, obviously, a private developer, private property owner, if they're not obligated to disclose that they're the owner in this forum, that it's just the person submitting the applicant, it is what it is. Those are the rules. But we're the city. I mean, we should hold ourselves to a little bit more transparency here.
Mr. Chair and Commission, we do have our standard practices in which we do relay. The information has not come up. This is one of the first city projects that have been moved forward. When you look at our packets, they're pretty standardized as to who is represented on those applications. When we do go to DRC and it is presented, we may see the owner be present, or you still see representatives, and that's where it is coming out. I don't think the standard necessarily is different, as we do have to hire out as well to do our cases and our packets. They are the representatives that are providing the information and coming to the public hearing to meet those standards.
Thank you for that. My next question is, and you answered it in your presentation, but I guess could you expand a little bit on the reason why the city chose to go with the old code and not the current code?
Mr. Chair and Commission, when you're looking at realized Las Cruces, there is the parkland dedication that is now required, or payment in lieu. When you're looking at development of the 6 parcels that would be on the property, they were required to essentially pay the $18,000 that would have been payment in lieu of. That gets added on to essentially that development for those affordable housing costs. If they went through the 2001 zoning code, they did not have those fees associated with them. So that was the primary goal, was to not essentially pay those, because they will still pay impact fees on the development when it comes in, but not the parkland dedication.
But what does that say when the city is trying to take advantage of a small loophole to get out of paying an impact fee? What does that say about our impact fee?
Mr. Commissioner, what the city's intent, this is a pass-through subsidy to the home buyer, so we're trying to reduce the cost for the end user. So reducing the fees inherently reduces the cost of the homes and makes them more affordable for the homeowners.
So we're basically stating in this forum right now that impact fees and increase costs for homeowners, even though I believe we've presented evidence in other forums that that's not necessarily the case. So
Affordable housing is not treated any differently than regular market rate housing, so we pay impact fees, although we do have a waiver process on occasion that we utilize. But again, we're obligated to pay permit fees, the park in lieu fees. If this carries on to the next phase, we'll pay public safety and park impact fees as well. So, and all of that becomes a pass-through to the end user. So the homeowners would have to absorb that cost. So again, going under the 2021 code will reduce the per lot cost for the homeowners.
all right. I don't think that's a very good look, but we'll leave it at that. My next question is about how the city came to own this parcel. There were a couple references from speakers this evening about maybe it was purchased as part of another separate park program. Just if you can address that head on, I think that would be helpful to understand and maybe clarify what actually transpired.
Mr. Commissioner, so I had to pull up the resolution myself. It was purchased sometime in 2019. It was part of the Nevada Cool Corridor. It does talk about that there was an intention to, where did it say? To facilitate planning services and engage residents in a small-scale projects to create temporary community spaces and allow residents ideas for various uses and refines plans. It's been vacant since then. The staff that was involved in the original purchase is no longer with the city. Parks has also since adopted a Parks Master Plan, which changes some of their requirements, and so it was sitting vacant. We were approached by Rem Alley, which is who we named this subdivision after. For those who don't know, he's a 92-year-old architect who provided the conceptuals, and so he wanted to work on some sort of development plan or alternative housing types that's outside of our usual scope. For those who know some of the work we do, we primarily work multifamily low-income housing tax credits, and so we've been asked to explore smaller starter home scale type housing. So this seemed like a good opportunity. We did reach out to the various departments to see if they had a use for this parcel. They responded that they didn't. It was no longer in alignment with parks or any community facility building. So the best use was additional housing for our housing stock.
I got a question for you on the park side. If it's not aligned with the way that parks are currently, but it was for purchase, whenever it was purchased, to be some type of an intent, should we not uphold the original intent of the purchase?
Chair Thurston, members of the commission, was that a comment or a question?
I guess my question is, with this parcel, what would you design as a park?
So I want to be clear that I actually have no documentation in any of my files that actually outline that this was specifically.
Sorry, I messed up.
That's okay.
I need to have you state your name.
Sure, absolutely. Catherine Harrison Rogers, Parks and Rec, for the record.
Do you swear, or do I have to? No,
No.
I just have to have your name. Sorry, screwing up again.
That's fine. I do want to clarify that I actually have no documentation in my records that it specifically targeted for a park. It was never on a capital improvement plan related to parks. But that being said, if it were to be designed as a park, in terms of the distancing from the neighborhood, it doesn't necessarily add a lot of value. We already have a community park in the area that serves basically a half-mile buffer walkshed, as well as the general community at hand. The smaller park, those are really challenging. I'm not really quite sure what we would do to design that. We would, of course, if it were in our hands and we were directed to do something with that, we would certainly work with the neighborhood to come up with a plan. But its proximity to Young Park, and the way our current master plan outlines park facility types and park needs and park gaps, it doesn't necessarily add to our stock in terms of filling those park gaps, because those park gaps, at least in this area, are filled.
Can I just have the resolution, the purpose read back?
Sure, and it doesn't specifically state parks. I think community space is how it reads.
So I can read most of it. Again, Natalie Green for the record. So it says, whereas the city desires to purchase 0.87 acres of land located at 1700 East Nevada from the Stroud Revocable Living Trust, where it was appraised by a local appraiser October 31st, 2018, and then it keeps going, so I'll just kind of expedite. Whereas the Sustainability Office created the Nevada Street Neighborhood Initiatives, which envisions the creation of several projects along the street and within the neighborhood, including a cool corridor, various energy efficiency projects, and building social connectedness projects, all intended to serve as a demonstration of resiliency strategy. And whereas part of the District 3 neighborhood meeting, residents approached Councilor Vasquez about the possible purchase. Residents expressed their desire to create a community space, and once purchased, staff will develop a one-year contract for facilitated planning services that engage residents in a series of small-scale projects to create temporary community spaces and allow resident ideas for various uses and refine plans. And whereas the asking price for the vacant parcel was $69,000, however, I lost it somewhere.
That's fine. I think you answered what I was looking for. Did any of that occur? Did the city hire somebody to facilitate a community meeting to explore ideas?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you, because it was the Sustainability Office, and again, those staff persons are no longer here.
Okay. So it seems very clear to me that it's intended for community spaces. What exactly that is was, supposed to be solicited by the community. It would be frustrating if that never happened. I think an argument could be made that a low, moderate income housing like this project, which I think is fantastic, could be defined as a community amenity. I think there's an argument to be made there. But the fact that it doesn't appear that there was any additional work to follow through from the city side is concerning. I mean, deeply concerning. And I can understand the residents' frustration. And I would like to think all of us can understand that. The city says we're going to do something, that they should at least follow through. And at the end of the day, if this was the best use and the best idea that came forward, fantastic. But it would appear to me that there's a lot going on here that is that residents have a legitimate complaint to be made.
Yeah, we did reach out to the other departments. Again, it's not in their development plans, and nor do they have a use for it. So housing decided to put it to use, and so this was our intended outcome.
Any other commissioners have, commissioners, I'm finally getting it right. Have any input or any questions? So now we're at the point where we either need a motion to approve, deny, amend, or table, right? I just need a vote? Okay, we just need a vote.
This is on the vote on 6.2. Counselor Joaquin Acosta.
If we deny, do we have to say the reason, just for the record? I'll vote to deny.
Commissioner McCaskill.
Deny.
Commissioner Janet Acosta.
Approve.
Commissioner Kaiser.
Before I give my vote, I just want to say that I'm not opposed to this project in concept. I think initially coming in tonight, this was a fantastic project. I had no issues. But then hearing from the residents and then re-examining the staff report, I'm very concerned that the city is not following their own rules. They're finding their own loopholes, and I don't think residents have been adequately involved in this process, so I'm going to vote no.
And Chair.
No.
Motion fails. Thank you.
Okay, we will now go on to new business 7.1. Oh, I need a,
I make a motion to hear item 7.1.
Second.
Okay. Once again, Sarah Gonzalez with Community Development. This is for the North Tornillo housing tracts. This is a property located at 1240 North Tornillo Street. It is approximately 0.339 acres in size. It is zoned R2, multi-dwelling, low density. It is located within our infill boundary and urban core. It is also another property that is vacant and undeveloped and owned by the city of Las Cruces. Here's a zoning map before you. As you can see, this area was located within the North Mesquite District. A lot of it is multifamily, R2, R4s, and then you do have the commercial nodes that are located around them, which is your North Mesquite and your Solano Avenue. Here's an aerial map of the subject property. It is located adjacent to Booker T. Washington School. We do have single-family residences, and as you can tell, there are a lot of multiple sizes and differences just because as part of the original town site, a lot of properties had different shapes and they were over top of property boundaries when they were built. So a lot of modifications have taken place through the subdivision process. The applicant is requesting an infill development proposal with this subdivision as it does follow the 2001 zoning code. In the 2001 zoning code, you can subdivide a property, so it's being subdivided from 1 into 3 new lots for single-family residential homes. The lots will range from 0.111 to 0.113 acres in size. It is accessed from North Tornillo Street. The reason it is an infill development proposal or subdivision is because there is a requested deviation to the minimum lot size requirements, which in an R2 zoning designation, it does require the lot size to be at 5,000 square feet. These lots are at 4922 and 4835, so just under the minimum standard. Being it's in an infill, they can request deviations to that zoning code. Here is a lot layout from the subdivision plat provided by the surveyor, which is lot 1, 2, and 3. So as you can see, they are single-family residential homes that meet the minimum lot width. They just do not meet the minimum lot size as far as square footage. Here is the subject property. As you can see, it is vacant, and then Booker T. Washington School is directly on the east side of the property. Here are the renderings for the 3 homes that are proposed on the sites. If they were to be developed, they are 3 bedrooms, so that it will provide single-family homes that are essentially in character or in nature with the current and existing homes in the neighborhood. This would be going on lot 1, this would be for lot number 2, and then you'd be looking at this image for lot number 3. All of them are single-story homes as they would match that characteristic. Once again, this did go through the Development Review Committee on October 15th. Because the infrastructure is in place, there's no concerns when the subdivision does come in. So at that point, we're looking to ensure that it meets the subdivision code or the intent of basically your infill area. There is still the condition that remains onto the property that it would require the parkland dedication because it is increasing by 2 lots. The fee would then be $7,437.12. With this, staff is recommending approval. It does meet the intent for the infill development plan. It does also follow Elevate Las Cruces as we are continuing to find different areas that are vacant in our properties and developing in them with housing opportunities. There is also, it does meet the intent for the community, and the proposed variance is compatible with the existing lots that are there. As you drive around anywhere within North Mesquite area, you can see that there are deviations to a lot of the lots that are there. We did receive one call for an inquiry essentially for the development and then support of the housing development. This is directly located to the south of the subject property. And so seeing housing come in was not a big concern for the actual property owner. So with that, I leave you with your commission options. Stand for any questions. And once again, Natalie is here from our housing development group.
Thank you. Natalie, do you have anything else you want to add to that presentation? Okay, we'll open it up to public participation. Anybody on the left, if you have any participation, go ahead and comment up. I guess my left, your right. And if you'll state your name. You can give them 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jose Tapia, and I live almost catty corner to this subdivision that you're trying to develop.
Hold on,
there on Popular and Tornillo.
I gotta swear you in real quick. I gotta swear you in. So do you swear or affirm? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, my name's Jose Tapia, and I live catty corner on that land. And what I'm here for, because we try to purchase this land for the church that is on the corner of Tornillo and Popular, the Seventh-day Adventist, to make a community service hall for our seniors and for our children to have something to do in the summer all year round. We have a food bank there, and I came and talked to, I tried to talk to our counselor, McClure. I did paperwork, I did investigation who owned that property and who sold it, and the city knocked down the house that was there, and they put a lien on that property. So now it belongs to the city. Now they're trying to make these 3 apartments, these 3 little houses there. We don't need houses. What we need is to keep our kids away from the street, and that's why we're working on that application, and we never got an answer. How come they didn't want us to sell us that property? And we wanted to make a little community center there to keep our kids safe. And I hope that you can overturn this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we add to?
Yeah, you get your own time as well. So go ahead and state your name.
Llewellyn Williams. Llewellyn Williams.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So, as Joe said, we've been looking at this property for the past 10 years at least. We were there when the city knocked down the existing building, and we couldn't find out who owned it. It was a mystery. Finally, Joe and others went around to the city hall on Motel, and finally we've tracked down who it was. Once we were able to reach them, which was extremely difficult, we were told to make an offer. So we made an offer. And about a couple of weeks after making the offer, they claimed it was denied because the city is going to build something there. We have a lot of activities on that corner for our church and for the kids. We do a lot of things with the kids from the Booker T. Washington, and we just kind of felt like every attempt we made to try to do something regarding this activity center, we got squashed. And we were most surprised that some of that injury was being inflicted by the city. And so I'm hoping that this can be tabled and we can be given an opportunity to make a reasonable offer and to see if we can procure this for the community.
Thank you. Anybody else on the left? We'll go on to the right. And when you get up there, will you please state your name and I'll swear you in.
Yes, my name is Ralph Gomez.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth or the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
As Dr. Williams has stated, and Jose, I'm also representing the church. And we had seen the property dilapidated for years. Going on 30 years, it's been the same. And once the doctor and other congregants there, we said, let's try and purchase the land to try to further the community and bring we even came as far as to bring the same drawings of what we were proposing. We hired an architect, and he brought up a proposal that was perfect for the neighborhood, perfect for the kids at Booker T. It was somewhere where they could go and have after-school activities, not even to include the weekend. The weekends would have been special. It would have been a place where they could have gone, and we would have had supervision. They would have been under our supervision, and they would have had recreation. We were even going to put in a eating area for whatever laws or whatever would be, we were going to follow, and we were ready to. We had the drawings, and we made a proposal, and we had a few meetings here with people from the city. Then, like Dr. Williams stated, all of a sudden, a sign goes up, years. A sign goes up almost, it's like if somebody had not thought of the property until we brought it up. And we tried to do our due diligence to try to procure this property, because we feel that more housing, because there's even more dilapidated housing there already. The neighborhood is in dire need of some place where these kids can go and grow and nurture, and the parents can be involved. We feel we got shortchanged on this because we didn't have the opportunity to go through the steps that these people have had. And we tried to. We were ready to buy it. We made as Dr. Williams stated, we made a pretty good proposal. And they said, we'll take in consideration. And my feeling is, personally, this is my personal opinion, is that someone said, hey, who knew about this property on this corner? And I'm sure there was people looking around saying, we don't know. Well, you know what? They said, this property won't make us any money with church and kids. Who cares about that? Let's try and make some money. How can we do this to make money? All of a sudden, this property is a foregone conclusion as far as I see here. Our recourse would be, if you could, take this under consideration and at the very least, table it. And let's find out what actually went on and how the property was, like the gentleman the 6'2", we are under, I'm sorry.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the right that would like to get up and speak? Seeing none, we will go to the commissioners.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question for staff, please. Staff, can you clarify who owns this property? Is it Tierra del Sol Housing, or is it the City of Las Cruces?
So the City of Las Cruces owns this, but it was deposited into the Affordable Housing Land Bank. So its disposition and restrictions are based on Chapter 13 of the Las Cruces Municipal Code. So its intended purpose is for affordable housing development. While the city can sell the property, we still have a fiduciary duty to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and Land Bank to recoup costs. So the offer that we received was well below the costs that the city invested into the property. So I got an offer for $5,000. I can't give away land under state law because of anti-donation. The only exception is affordable housing. And again, the city will be giving the lots to Tierra del Sol, so we are not making money off of this. It's all for the benefit of the future homeowners.
So I guess, why don't we write this in our staff reports? Why isn't this part of our presentation? I mean, this to me is critical information. I don't understand why we continue to not disclose information about projects. It's not just the two tonight, I feel like it's almost all of our projects that come forward. We learn things from comments that are being made that, oh, suddenly, you know, we've got 20 more questions lined up that staff decided that they didn't feel was important context for a project. But especially for projects like this, I don't understand why we can't just be forthcoming about what it is we want to do and provide information to the public. We owe it to the public. We work for them. So that's not a question. That's a frustration. It's a statement. I also just want to clarify for folks in the room, this body does not litigate what may or may not have happened between a property owner and a potential seller. That's private business. We don't get involved in that. So I certainly can understand the frustration that you weren't successful in your endeavors to acquire the property, but that's not something that we have any authority or insight or visibility into. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I have one more additional comment or question for staff, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Staff, I understand we have a methodology here that we use to always list our cases. But right off of what Commissioner here, my fellow commissioner, has stated, and I don't know what regulations are as far as being more transparent, saying the city owns this property, which that is our taxpayer monies that own it, right? So can we be more transparent? Or what do we need to do to hit that mark when we are more transparent with our public?
Mr. Chair and Commission, I think moving forward, yes, because this has been the first time in which those questions had come up. From moving forward, staff can modify essentially our staff reports where we just include them for all cases. And so I think it's important just to go back to, in all cases, providing any of the property owners as well as private owners and developers and applicants who are placing them forward. I think every time we come to the commission meetings, we all learn that there's new pieces or new steps that we all can grow from, and that's where we continue to improve based on comments, based on public input, based on, that's why we have these meetings on, you know, live TV so that people can watch them through YouTube, get the information out there in different forms and different formats. That's why we've started putting all the case packets available for the public to view. We've increased, we've improved, we continue to do those moving forward.
Thank you.
I have a question for staff. I'm not aware of the process, so if somebody does make an offer on a piece of land that the city owns, is this a negotiation process or is it an offer and a denial?
It depends, again, because this is within, and again, Natalie Green for the record, because this is held within the Affordable Housing Land Bank, it has a separate disposition process. So typically we would need to get a couple of appraisals first under state law to determine the value of the lot. We would have to go to the Affordable Housing Land Bank Committee to ask what they thought of that offer or if they wanted to dispose of that. And then it would require council approval to sell the land, and then all the proceeds would go back into the trust fund. But again, because the offer was well below what the city had invested in the property, it was just, we told them no.
Thank you.
And again, these lots in particular, we acquired 5 through the neighborhood action. They were nuisance abatements, right? Dilapidated properties that were then demolished and acquired for the land bank. And that mostly occurred in 2020. Council already gave approval to acquire those specifically for the purpose of affordable housing. So that's what we're moving forward with.
So to clarify one thing, the original intent of purchasing these were always for affordable housing on this piece of land?
Correct. The 5, we call them the NAP properties or nuisance abatement properties, and this was one of those.
Thank you.
Some were acquired through foreclosure, but this one in particular was purchased directly from the homeowner using affordable housing funds from the trust fund. So again, that restricts the use to uses under the Affordable Housing General Oversight Ordinance.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
This is on the vote for item 7.1. Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Janet Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, I don't see any items on discussion for number 8, so does anybody have any on that? We'll then go to staff announcements.
Mr. Chair and Commission, the only staff announcement would be that next month, once again, our meetings are moved up for 1 additional week, so we will be meeting on December 16th. As of right now, we do currently have 2 cases moving forward, so we do have a proposed zone change and an additional subdivision and master plan at this point.
Thank you. All right,
I make a motion to adjourn.
if we get a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.